Welcome to Fantasy Effect episode 115. We got an NFC East preview tonight. We have our own free Discord, Patreon as well. Please DM us if you guys are interested in that. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe to the videos below. And Holler and McSpanky are with me tonight. How's it going tonight, guys?
It's going good, man. Father's Day was this last weekend, so that was fun. Hopefully everyone out there had a good Father's Day. My wife got me this it's like Ninja Creamy thing, so you can make like homemade ice cream.
I'm sorry, what?
It's called a Ninja
have one of those
Creamy.
too.
It's good, dude. You make homemade ice cream, and so
all right.
We've been making
all
all kinds of ice cream.
But all right,
what you don't like a good creamy?
Ninja Creamy?
Yeah.
Ninja Creamy? I don't know.
No, we have one too, and it's awesome. Any type
So
of
good,
ice cream, anything you want.
The hardest part is
for it.
You have to like make the ice cream like the night before, and then like wait 24 hours or overnight, whatever.
Yeah,
so
it's got to get hardened.
Well, yeah, and
you guys don't have you guys don't have the frost blaster like they do on what is it?
Like Master Chef or whatever.
Yeah, Master Chef. Thank you. On Master Chef, they throw it in there for like 30 minutes, and they're like, ice cream, good.
So my house was built in like the 70s, man. So no, we don't have one of those. You're talking to someone in the wrong tax bracket. So.
I don't either. I was just curious.
Yeah. But no, the Ninja Creamy is awesome.
It's awesome. Okay. And can you do, considering it's the off season, let's talk about the Ninja Creamy for a few minutes here.
Do it. Not a sponsor, but our DMs
not a sponsor,
open,
but
so...
if you want to get in on this, get it on the ground floor, guys. Because if we're at the top and you come asking, I might say no. I don't know.
Price the brick goes up.
What do you guys think? Oh. Exactly. Yeah. Price the brick going up.
You can do
anyway. So, any flavor?
Anything you want.
Anything you want.
Yep. Do you chop up a fruit to create the ice cream?
You can. So you can do ice cream. You can do sorbet. You can do like smoothie bowls. You can.
What's a sorbet?
It's like fruit into ice cream.
Okay.
But
okay.
Yeah. You guys, thank you for joining in the chat. What you didn't realize was tonight is just the homemade ice cream making episode.
Ninja Creamy. Go get one.
Anyway, okay, we'll move on from the Ninja Creamy. All right, the name just interested me and piqued my interest. All right,
send you some links.
All right, so Jordan Addison has a trial date set for July 15th. Possible suspension looming? Question mark.
I think so, right? I think he's gonna get suspended, and I think generally the NFL, if you have like some kind of a DUI, it's usually 3 games, if I remember that correctly. I think they're usually pretty like consistent with that one. Some of their disciplining is all over the place, but I think they're usually substance things are 3 games.
Sure.
Dynasty wise, it doesn't really impact anything too much. I think it's a bigger concern for like if you've been doing best ball on Underdog or DraftKings or like redraft. Luckily with like redraft you'll know beforehand, but I do think that's coming. I also find it interesting that like he's gonna get suspended, but like Rashee Rice's deal just keeps getting like pushed back.
Yeah, man. Jeez,
it's weird.
It's just strange, but
listen,
the Addison thing,
Taylor
that
Swift
kind of sucks,
black magic going on. It's the Taylor Swift black magic that goes on in Kansas City. You guys will remember all the people on Twitter talking about like at this point it's just black magic, like Taylor's sacrificing.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like,
yeah, I mean, who knows, man? Yeah, but be careful.
You
don't want the
really
Swifties
good
coming
legal
after you.
Team there. What's that?
Yeah.
So you don't want the Swifties coming after you. So.
I'm not afraid of Swifties. I'm not afraid.
Yeah, so I'm thinking kind of the same boat as you. 3 games. I think it will kind of just hurt him more in redraft or best ball. He's still kind of going in like the middle ranges of like 8 to 12 in startups for Dynasty. He's been somebody that like I haven't really been interested in getting in any startups this offseason. Just other people that I'd rather gotten, and I just obviously we don't know if JJ McCarthy can support 3 receivers, so
he can.
2 wide receivers and one tight end, but I hope he can.
But so here's the other thing with not JJ McCarthy, Jordan Addison. Like his end of year numbers always look great. Like, and he finishes as a wide receiver too. But like, look at some of his wide receiver finishes. He had a 61, a 7, a 56, a 32, 81, 18, 61, 24, 1, 45, 3, 29, 26, 23, 108. So it's like
he's propped up by touchdowns.
It's either real good or it's like, oof, I should have just left him on the bench. And those are the kind of guys like they can be fine, but they can really burn you certain weeks too if they don't come out. And it's just
and
I just don't a price for him because he's going for like a late first, right? And I just don't. I'd rather have something more like consistent in my lineup.
I liked Jordan Addison coming out of college for what it's worth. I definitely think that he is a 1B, and this is probably the most opportune situation for him, having Justin Jefferson on the other side. But the JJ McCarthy question kind of looms large as to what he can support. I know Spanky believes in it, a lot. Yet to be seen, and he has been pretty boom busty. And he's just like he's not the type of game-wrecking, boom-busting wide receiver I want on my roster. So I don't have much Jordan Addison.
Yep, I'm with you. I think I have a decent amount just because where he was going in that rookie draft.
Sure, yeah, he was a late guy.
Yeah, and I really liked him coming out of college. So,
same.
But yeah, I mean, there's plenty of other guys that are going around him in startups that I'm just like, I'll go with somebody else.
100%.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, Wes, that's spot on. Like
multitask.
Yeah, so I'm with you, Wes. Wes said I like boom bust guys for bye weeks or maybe last flex, and that's exactly it, right? He's going, in startups where wide receiver 3s are going, right? And for me, he's more of a flex play, or a fill in, right? And until we can get a little more consistency. With knowing he'll get 4 to 5 receptions and 50 plus yards, and then with a touchdown kind of sprinkled in there, like that's not somebody I want to feel confident with, or I don't feel confident with in putting in my wide receiver 3 spot.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, definitely. I think his age is kind of propping him up a little bit. At this point, just being a younger guy at this point in time. I think there's more productive people that are probably valued less than him. We could probably go through a long list, but we could probably do that at a lot of positions, honestly, with a lot of players. So we won't get into that. Yeah, any year, we could. Yeah, yep. And I just think that the age factored in with all the few other things are kind of propping them up there a little bit. Anyway, let's get into these trades. Did you guys do these trades this week?
We did do these trades this week. I did these ones.
Spanky trades?
So yeah, either praise or light into me here. So the first one is a 12-teamer. You guys are in this league.
I saw
Superflex PPR. It's 2 points, tight end premium. There's a point per carry, and there's also points per rushing and receiving first downs. I traded away my 26th second for Javonte Williams, which I know that's probably going to raise some eyebrows. People are going to go, that's gross. Before I defend myself, I'll let you guys. What are your thoughts on that trade?
Okay. So my questions for you to give us the context are: was this a pre-existing league? Mm-hmm. That's one of the questions. Okay, this is pre-existing, so we kind of know.
You're like 4-ish of that.
Okay,
league.
So we kind of know where teams sit. Kind of, you kind of know where your team sits in the pecking order there. Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming this is a late 2, or it has been for multiple years.
Wow.
Look
Okay.
at you just tooting Spanky's horn.
It wasn't is the answer there. But it's been like a fringe playoff team, kind of in that
no longer
5 to 8
range. Nope.
Okay. So the 205 to 208 doesn't make you feel you don't think Javonte. All right, let me start here. Well, no, how are you go, and then I'll start.
Yeah, so there's been a couple good news coming out of Dallas. I'm sure that's just hype and the lack of football going on right now. And so for me, I'm okay with this, right? I know there's a possibility with, that second could be good. It looks like I'm frozen. So, I like it. I think the upside with Javonte on a team that was a playoff fringe could possibly help you, get a better spot going into the playoffs. I'm assuming you have a solid running back room. This is not like a guy that you're going to put in as your running back 2 or a guy you're really going to lean on. So it's more just kind of filling out that roster. So I'm okay with it, right? I probably, it would really depend on my team if I would feel good about it or not. But like at the end of the day, I'm okay with the trade.
Yeah. So some things that happened to that team last year, like Brees Hall kind of wasn't great, and then Jordan Love got hurt, and there were some injuries, right, that kind of set that one back, right? I think Javonte is going to lead the backfield, and we're going to talk about it in a little bit when we go over Dallas, but like I think there's value to be had, and whether it's Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders, or maybe even Jadon Blue, like I think one of those guys, if not a combination of them, will provide you some decent fantasy values. I think Javonte is the best running back of that group, and so I thought, I'll take a gamble there. That team should be in kind of a playoff team, I would assume. So my thought was thinking, even if I lose the first round, it's like a 207, right? Like it's a 207 on a shot for Javonte Williams in case he spikes. Like I don't really care, because honestly, like most years the 207, like you're not losing out on a ton, right? So
sure.
That was my thought. I'll roll the dice.
That's where I'm okay with, right? It's like I think to fill out your roster or to kind of get another player. It's kind of, I made a move for Darnell Mooney a couple weeks ago on one of my teams that we were late on starting the rookie draft, and so I sent away 210 for Mooney, right? And it's like, well, maybe I would want that 210, but where my team's at, I think just bolstering my roster and getting a piece that I know will possibly have a good week is better, in my opinion, than having that 207 or 205 to 212 kind of thing.
Yeah. Hold on, let me pull up your rookie rankings so I don't sound like a total crazy person. So the reason this is new for me. So the reason that it's more about the Javonte Williams part of this.
Sure.
That even if Javonte were to spike, I don't think his value goes any higher than what that mid 2, is going to be next year anyway. Like that deal's always available for Javonte Williams, like mid-season as well too, even if he's playing well, if that makes sense.
So I don't know. I feel like if he's playing well, the price is going to go up, and people are going to want closer to an early 2, if not a late first, because people get greedy as hell.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah,
that part is fair. It's part is fair. And it is off-season mode, and maybe I'm just in a little bit of like, there's some guys that could fall into their like, Trey Harris, Luther Burden got good draft capital. There's a few guys that if they had fallen to that spot, I might be disappointed.
They went above the 207 though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
no,
both those guys did.
I know. I'm saying, okay. I know. But there's drafts where they did fall. I'm just saying, and those new shiny toys. Not specifically those guys is what there's going to be a new shiny toy at that 26 second next year that is going to be worth more than what Javonte is at this point next season, unless he pulls out a running back 1 season, basically. It's where I'm at with it. And I want I don't know. I feel like you could do the same thing in like in the middle of the season for Aaron Jones's and Alvin Kamara's and things along those lines.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I just think, another year.
I understand what you did, and I don't hate it. I'm just not in on Javonte. I'm tired of doing nothing with Javonte.
I mean, do you know where Javonte finished as a running back last year in fantasy points per game?
I have no idea.
As a season? He was running back 30. So it's not like we talk about him like he's dead, right? Like, he's been disappointing. He's not the guy that we thought he was going to be when we took him at the 103 his rookie year, but he's not he's not horrible by any means.
I think he could be better than he was last year, a year removed from that ACL.
I
don't
find it hard to believe that he runs better in a non-Sean Payton offense in Dallas.
Dude, you and Sean Payton, man. You
Dude,
love Sean Payton.
I don't care. I don't care that you guys hate him. I think he's a very good coach, and I think he's a hell of a better coach and offensive system planner than whatever is going on in Dallas right now.
That's fine. That's fair.
So if Sean doesn't want him to run that system, I don't know. It's just one of the things. It's just one of my things, man. It's like the Steelers getting out on wide receivers. It's just kind of like, why don't you want this guy? We all kind of thought he was good and he could do the things that you wanted him to do, and you don't really want him around. Something's not adding up. They could have had him back for cheap. They could have, not drafted. They could have had him back for cheap and drafted RJ Harvey still and let RJ Harvey take over for him. For some reason, they let Javonte walk out the door.
He's dead. He must only have one leg.
It perks my ears up. I'm sure I have Javonte floating around, and I'm not giving any death sentence to him. I'm just saying, like, I'm just interested to see what happens with Javonte.
That's fair. I just figured I'll take the dice roll.
Yeah, no, and listen,
and running backs are kind of propped up in that league to begin with.
With the PPC, points per rushing.
And your side of the argument makes complete sense too, with what kind of draft pick you're expecting to send. Yeah, I just, me and my draft picks. I like to do it in season when I know that I'm pretty much like in the playoffs and going to already,
See, but if everyone else knows that you're in the playoffs too, and then they're going to be like,
sometimes I have to. I
don't want you to, and you're going to pay more.
First,
right? So
sometimes I have to pay more, but
I'm a little more cavalier with my second round picks. I'll just kind of send those ones out. I like to hold on to my first round picks, but
I think I'd be the more cavalier guy around here.
I just I kind of send those out and just
yeah,
because statistically they hit a lot less at a lot higher of a rate, and so
the only reason I like to hold them longer is because I like to have the early ones still. If I wind up early.
And like if my team was like horrendous, I wouldn't have sent the 2, right?
Sure.
Like
sure.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Fair enough. I don't know what I'm questioning the sensei here. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, how can you
listen? It's not. Feel free to question me all you want. Feel free to be wrong all you want. You're entitled to your wrong opinions. That's all I have to say about it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I did one more trade. We can talk about that real quick before we move on to the previews. It was a 16-team league, super flex PPR, tight end premium again. Also points per carry. It's a little less relevant because I sent a wide receiver, but I traded away Zay Flowers for a 26 first. That's probably going to end up somewhere in the. Why are we laughing? Oh, I see the comment now. I thought I missed something because I was looking at my trade on the other screen.
So I'm good with the first for Zay Flowers. There was some good chatter in our Discord the other day, but I'm good with it. Right? I outside of the joke on he's just a gadget guy. I mean, he's fine, right? He's fine, but for the same thing, like he's not a player I want to buy for a first. I kind of know what he is. A little bit of argument was like, well, what if he goes to another team? Well, what if, right? There's so many what ifs for every player. So, I'm okay with getting the first here.
So let me bring this up. So he played 17 games last year. How many games do you think he finished as a wide receiver 2 or better?
3.
It was a little more than that. Give him a little more credit.
I was going to say
5.
Give me 5. I was going to give me 5. I was going to go 6, but you
6.
It was 6?
So 6.
Oh my god!
How many games did he finish worse than a wide receiver 3? So 37th or worse.
Probably 6 as well.
8.
Oh,
right in the middle. Okay. So what I'm getting at is like he didn't really like that, and it's horrible. Like his finishes outside of the top 36 are like bad. They're like 71, 93, 62, 73 again, 96. Yep. Like they're like, oh my god, like what happened in his offense? And then he doesn't have a ton of spike weeks. Like his better weeks too were like 3 and 6, but outside of that, it was a lot of like 14s, 32s, 35s, 21s. Like I'm comfortable re-rolling with a pick and trying to for a better wide receiver than that. Like that's not anything special production wise.
Yep.
It's a similar argument to the Jordan Addison thing, right? Like his end of number years look great, but like when you go week to week, you're like, ooh, I didn't like this. Didn't like the journey there. So
yeah, and I think the Ravens defense is going to be very, very good next year.
Yeah.
And so I think they're going to just run the heck out of the ball. And, I just think that really hinders Zay Flowers.
And he doesn't score a lot of touchdowns, right? Because when they get in the red zone, like one, they're either running the ball with Henry or Lamar, or they're looking at one of the tight ends, right? He scored 5 touchdowns and 4 touchdowns his first 2 years in the league, and he's been right around that like 75 reception mark. So like he's not like a PPR monster either. So it's like, okay, where's the value coming from? Like where are the spikes coming from, right? Like on the weeks he scores,
And Bateman is, a little bit better, has a little more of a pulse, and they brought in. I know Hopkins is old, and but it's getting a little more crowded, right? So, I'm 100% okay with the first.
I like the Timu Jordan Addison. That's funny.
Dude,
that's a great name for him. That's fantastic.
Neither here nor there. I also I think it's totally fair to take a 26 first for Zay Flowers and get the re-roll. I prefer Zay slightly a little bit, but we talked about that probably 2 weeks ago. If you guys hear about why I would prefer to have Zay, and it's just a slight bit. If I'm going into a rebuild, I may re-roll just because I want to look for striking lightning in a bottle with the pick, and we know that Zay Flowers isn't that at this point in time. Anyway, let's get into this NFC East preview. The Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl last year.
They did.
Not too much changed here.
The roster's basically the same. They didn't lose a ton. At least on the offensive side of the ball. Jalen Hurts, I think we know what he is. He's going to be a top 5 quarterback for you. The thing I wanted to talk about was Saquon. Are you guys worried at all about Saquon this year, or do you think it's just like a lot of just like people are bored? And the reason I bring it up is the Madden thing, right? I know that's dumb, but like there is something to it. Yeah, there's something to it. But I think the bigger thing, so I went back the last 10 years and looked at the running back 1 who finished as the running back 1, which Saquon did, and what they did the following season. 3 times they had another running back 1 season. That's like a top 12 running back season, so that's good. But 7 out of those 10 years, they were running back 3 or worse. So like basically they were somewhere between like 25 and the 36 or less. Obviously, every year is different, right? A lot of those guys did get injured. Running backs get injured. It's a thing that happens, unfortunately. That could happen to anyone. So it's not necessarily that it's going to be a Saquon thing, but like, I don't know, man. It's just a little scary.
So what I want to bring up about Saquon is like Saquon truly is a generational talent. All that, this, that, and the other, and this is nothing to take away from Saquon. Sure. He also has the CMC thing though, where these injuries pop up and they're just like, oh my God. And then like the whole season's gone, like kind of thing. Like with the Giants, dude, I mean, it was constant. He was coming off, remember the baseball sized ankle? And that was just like a litany of injuries that season, that went on for him. So it's not like this hasn't happened. I think he's been more often injured than not injured in his career. And we kind of saw CMC go to San Francisco, have a really healthy year, put on a great year, come back the next year, not so healthy, not so great. Not saying that that's the path that this is going to go. But we have seen this in his career, prior to this, and it is a oft injured position with an aging running back coming off of a heavy workload, expected to get another heavy dose.
Yeah. So it's just it causes me a little bit of pause. Like it hasn't stopped me from, drafting or trying to acquire him, but it gives me a little bit of uneasiness, especially like if you take him in like a redraft, like you're probably taking him like one, like first, second, or third if you actually want him. So it's a big commitment, right? And
Spanky has commitment issues. Yep.
Redraft, I don't care.
Been married for almost 10 years, but all right.
In redraft, I don't care, honestly, though, because like if he gets hurt, he gets hurt, and then it's like that's why my redraft team got screwed. You know what I mean? Saquon was hurt for the entire season. if he gets hurt and torpedoes a dynasty season and you traded for him to start the season,
it's not just that season, it's multiple seasons.
It's multiple seasons you've now hurt, or you couldn't get him off your roster before he got hurt, and now you're stuck with a Saquon at a slightly less value, which is going to go down for a lot further than what he would have 2 years ago as injured Saquon. That's for darn sure.
Well, look at where CMC is this year compared to last year.
Yep.
Oh yeah, crazy. I think I'm cautiously optimistic. I did move a first and another piece for him in a team that I feel that is like very solid.
I just acquired him last week too.
Yeah, so like that's exactly what you're talking about.
It's
Ron,
worth the
like,
risk. Like if it hits, like it's worth the risk. It's 100% worth it.
But on any team that I'm like, okay, is this team going to be any good or whatever? I'm gonna do anything I can to move him, right? Depending on if I'm doing a startup and I do take a Saquon, then okay, I'm really gonna then start to hit more vets because I really need to make sure I'm win that first season, because I think another season for Saquon, a heavy dose of running is only gonna he's gonna get like the value is gonna be worse, right? So I just think you kind of want to be ahead of that. But I think barring any injury, I think it's going to be another good season for him. That O-line is so good, so I just think barring injury, I think we kind of know what we're going to get.
That's the only thing that's going to stop him.
Injury or, I do think he may, regress just a little bit.
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
I would say like,
he almost broke the NFL record last year for rushing. So like,
yeah,
even if he regresses to like what 1,800
exactly.
yards, like, oh damn,
right?
Like,
I don't like when people say regression. Like I don't count that as regression. Like I realize how hard it is to do the other thing that he just did. That's like you're still doing freaky stuff on a consistent level, man. Like that's
like he might not hurdle someone backwards this year,
right? Like oh god, he didn't backflip somebody. Oh geez, what an idiot.
That's And the thing is too, like no one else is like that running back room. It's Will Shipley and AJ Dillon behind him. It's not like there's a threat to his workload. It's really just going to be
touching the ball.
And and I know, Howard, you mentioned like wanting to get ahead of it. I always struggle with like wanting to get ahead of it so that your team stays afloat and like you kind of have like better assets. But at the same time, it's like if you have Saquon on your team, you have a really good chance to win your league.
Yeah, of competing.
You do, but I think you need to look at the context and really take a strong look at your team and say like, is this a strong team or are there a lot of question marks?
Well,
but I get what you're saying because I've gotten out too early and then I have like probably lost out on some good teams because I've said like, oh, this guy's this age. It's time to move off of him. He's at a high value. It's time to do it now. When realistically, I maybe could have made the playoffs, in some years on some leagues because I just decided the team sucked before I even checked to see if it sucked.
Like how many teams traded away Derrick Henry like 3 years ago, and like you could have won your league, like or in a lot better of a spot to win it the last 3 years because of Henry on your team. But you're like, oh well, he's 28 now, so I got to get rid of him. I think I'm more on the side of team good players, and I'm gonna just roll with Saquon, right? Like he gives you such a advantage at the position, right? Like yeah, and just if he gets injured, he gets injured, but like you can't like plan for that, right? There's no way. Like if he like tears his ACL, it's like, well, then how would you have known? You know what I mean? Like
you're going to avoid every single player then on every single team if injury is the risk you're avoiding,
and have just like everybody's first round picks from that on because you're just like
you'll just tank every single year and rebuild every single year because you're afraid somebody else is going to get hurt. A guy I kind of want to touch on is Dallas Goedert because there was like the trade rumors floated. During draft time. Was that due to contract stuff? Does he have a contract coming up?
He agreed to less money to stay in Philly. So he should be there. He should be their third option in the passing game because they don't really have a whole lot else. I know you have a ton of Goddard. I do too.
I wish Smith is still there. He's good. Quarterback. I think Goddard could be a lot better in a higher volume. It is what it is. I think Goddard is a really good tight end. It's just unfortunate that their passing volume pretty much goes through AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, and then
Saquon.
Jalen Hurts is only throwing a handful of passes, a game. So there's not much left for Goddard.
They don't have to, right? Like the O-line's so good. Saquon
don't have to use him.
Like they just.
I do think he's a nice value in startups. Like he's going 13, 14, 15.
Yeah, he's
way
severely
after.
disrespected.
Yeah. So like,
because he was hurt
I love
last year, right?
Yeah, and I love grabbing him.
He's
as
hurt
like
every year, but
my secondary tight end or whatever. Or if I just kind of wait
right
on tight end, I feel good with that as well. And I think you kind of know what you're going to get with him. If he stays healthy, he's going to be solid. He gets injured quite a bit though, so he's good to miss 2 to 4 games. And it's the balls are going to AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, and Saquon. So
Sure.
for how low his volume is, I never feel bad when I have to put Goddard into my lineup.
True. Yep.
You know what I mean? Like I'm like, oh, all right, I'll put Goddard in. You know what I mean? Like I'm good.
When he's healthy on the field, he's great. Like I was just pulling up his finishes last year. Like he was pretty much a top 15 tight end or better pretty much every week he played. Like he had a couple spike weeks in there. Like he's never gonna like burn you because when he's on the field, he's at least fine. And then when he sucks, it's because he's hurt and he's not in your lineup anyway. So you have an opportunity to play someone else. So like I would say if you roster Dallas Goedert, you probably want to have someone else that you feel comfortable playing because you're probably going to need to play them. But
that's what I mean by like I love grabbing him as like my secondary tight end. Because
he's really nice.
He's going pretty late. Most of the time, people just overlook him, and I think if he can stay healthy, he's a really good red zone threat, right? So he can get a touchdown, and so
that's all you need. Like tight end, just catch a touchdown, and you're tight end 1 on the week. You know what I mean?
Like, outside of McBride and Bowers, that's really what you're hoping for most of the tight ends, right? Like,
and he plays for a high-powered offense. So,
give me a shot. You know how far down Dallas Goedert is right now?
It's just
he's tight end 26 on Keep Trade Cut.
Yeah, insane.
It's nasty.
That's not even real.
There's
like
not
below
26
tight ends in the NFL better than Dallas Goedert.
That's below seriously. Like Arroyo, and it's probably because he's a rookie and people steam him up. But like I'll take the guy that I've seen play in the NFL. He's behind Harold Fannin. Like
that's crazy.
Heaven's sake. Like Cade Otton, Britton Strange. Like give me a break, man. Like I just
this is disrespectful to Dallas Goedert.
It is a little
disrespect.
Like, I think you could probably. I mean, let's assume you're not playing in a start 2 tight end league, but like you could probably acquire him for like a 2nd round pick, right?
Oh yeah, it Goddard's
even in tight end premium.
I don't need to acquire any Goddard because I have all the Goddard.
Sure.
So if you play in the league with me, don't even ask. I will not trade you away what his market value is. He is worth more than that to me.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, for sure.
All right. Up next, the Washington Commanders. The key addition here would be Deebo Samuel, I think, and then Brian Robinson once again survives the draft. He's just so dang good. Tugging along, just
so good.
Yeah. Wow. He's so average. They're just like, we'll just we don't want to get worse, but we can't get better right now. So Brian, you're up again.
You're up. Yep.
He's like a dollar store version of Najee Harris. He's just kind of out there doing his thing. He doesn't really get hurt a ton, but he just he doesn't spike, but he doesn't burn you either.
Yeah.
I was looking at the notes earlier today, and I was like, just quietly churns out RB2 numbers week in and week out. I'm like, did I write that? It's like, no,
I did.
I think I turned your head a little bit. But yeah, no, Brian Robinson, you guys all know my love for Brian Robinson, but I do think, it's going to be a little bit of the same. He's not somebody that I'm like, ooh, I love getting me some Brian Robinson in my lineup, right? Even though I am the Brian Robinson.
You don't have
lover,
to lie to us.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I just think
Brian Robinson if he's in the pool.
Another year of Jaden Daniels. I think he's going to run the ball a little bit more. They could hand the ball off to Deebo Samuel a little bit, even though we saw how kind of slow he was looking. But typically they that's how Deebo. Yeah, he is.
Apparently, if you ask that, what was the coach?
Was like,
He's the fastest guy on the team. So
that's not good. That's not good for the.
Sure.
I
Well,
mean, was he
like
racing
Zeb's
O
theory.
lineman? Because
I like
what are we
Zeb's
doing here?
theory on that.
Yeah.
Is his quick wit that he was the fastest with.
I mean, possibly.
And then also like Austin Eckler is somebody that is nice to grab, and like he's going at like in the 20th or later rounds. Like, he's a guy that you can feel all right putting in a bye week. So just like to have him on your roster is, in my opinion, still solid. He's, Brian Robinson doesn't really catch passes. And that's what Austin Eckler excels at. So
Austin Eckler's great. And I know he's 30 and it's like, oh, he sucks and whatever. He's running back 66 right now, right? Which he played 11 games last year. In 9 of those games, he was a running back 3 or better, right? So like, he's a great guy for like your bye weeks. If like a fill-in gets injured, because when he's on the field, he's gonna give you just like a nice, like what you're getting out of him. Maybe he falls over into the end zone, but like,
sure,
dude, I don't know. Like Austin Eckler at a running back 66 price point, like it doesn't take much to pay that off, right? Like,
no.
And if something happens to Brian Robinson, like, well, hell yeah, dude. Eckler's wheels up.
Point. Yeah.
Yeah. So like in recent startups, I was like kind of looking for him later in the rounds. Like, okay, who should I pick? There's just this wide receiver deep on the depth chart, whatever. And then it's like, oh, sweet, I'll give myself some Austin Eckler. It's like I don't have to put him in my lineup, but when I do have to, I feel better than throwing in.
It's like
John
that
Dotson
insurance policy on your car, right? You hope you never use it, but it's nice to know it's there.
Yeah, it's nice to see you. This is more just news for me. Noah Brown seemingly died on the field the other day.
I think he's okay.
Oh, he is?
Yeah. So I was doing some research on this.
Thank
they got
goodness.
carted off the field. Okay. In the preseason and off season, they cart everybody off.
I know, but whether
you
Noah Brown's like nobody. If they
tore an ACL, you poop your pants. They're carting you off, right? And it is what it is. Unless
he's so far down. He's so far down the depth chart. They don't bring down the cart unless he absolutely needs it.
Though he's like wide receiver 3, and apparently, so I saw this on like the Commanders beat. There's like a event they're doing on Friday, and he's like the Commanders like guest. He's gonna be there, and people are like, "Oh, well, if he was seriously injured, he wouldn't be there." Also, he met with like MRIs and stuff, and they didn't say anything. Now the team doesn't have to announce it, but like I think they would have said like, "Hey, he's
sure."
He tore his ACL. He's done. So I think he's okay. I think he avoided like a serious injury. We'll know for sure when camp rolls around. But like, I mean, Noah Brown doesn't like. Okay, he's not like good, but he doesn't like suck either. Like he's a nice. I don't want
the volume.
Him,
I just want to see him have to get it like a game of Noah Brown's or not Noah Brown's of Terry McLaurin's volume.
Yeah, I mean, so that's probably the biggest thing out of Washington right now is that Terry McLaurin, they need to pay the man. I think we talked about this last week, but just pay the man. He deserves it. He's your best wide receiver. He's pretty much your best offensive outside of Jaden Daniels, obviously, but he's got to be your best, option. So just also, pay the man.
Like Deebo Samuel, I mean, do you have any hope for him being good? I know the clip was out there of him running around, like looked like he was like,
he does not
maybe half speed. I mean, how much of it too is like he's an older vet. Like it's how seriously is he taking some of these routes? Like is he just kind of out there just like dinking around? Like
fair, all very fair points.
I don't have much hope for him. He probably will, be fine for the year, but he's not somebody I'm drafting in any startups. If I have him on my team, I'm just holding him. No one's gonna. He's gonna.
How much?
Really cheap.
What would it? Yeah, what would it take to acquire him? Especially because right now, like nobody wants him because they're like, oh, Deebo looks like crap.
Is it less than a second to get Deebo on your team right now?
It's gotta be, dude. Right? Like
at that point, I might be willing to try.
Yeah, no, that's the same thing. Like
wide receiver 52 right now.
Yeah,
like,
if I'm sending.
Like
I just noticed like the last startup we were in. I just noticed like how, he just kept getting passed off.
He's bad at football. He just might be old and may have fallen off a cliff, and we don't know yet.
Yeah. So but I think, I would if my team is solid and late second, like I did for Darnell Mooney, like I'll pay a late second for him.
Yeah, sure. Why not? And Strandis Vessel, I was thinking that actually when I was saying it. But it's like, who else is old and slow is Zach Ertz, and he was fantastic last year.
Good.
And some of these wide receivers, if you put them in the slot, like they don't have to be beating guys deep. They don't have to go beat man coverage. They can just find a spot in the zone and
that was never Debo's game anyway.
They catch a bunch of passes and they're fine, right? Like I think Debo can be productive, and I don't think he's dead yet. Is I guess what I'm getting.
Agreed.
At here, right?
Talk about dead. Ben Sinnott. So sad. I really liked him coming out of college.
The H-back?
But
the H-back, Ben Sinnott?
But
no way.
If you can't beat out Zach Ertz, then I don't think you can, really be a tight end. So
I wish you guys would listen to me every once in a while.
I will say though, he had a perfect reception percentage last year. He caught every single target that came his way.
In the preseason, I was
five of those bad boys.
Let me tell you what, the preseason was heated for Ben
the hype was there
last year. Yeah. Because he had a couple games where he really went after it, and I was like, oh my god, he might not be an H-back, but then it seems maybe he is. I don't know. He's still young though. I can still be young. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see if he gets on the field a little bit more this year. I think there's a little bit of hope, but if you
don't see him this year on the field, even blocking,
then he's dead.
It's over. Yeah. If he's not even out there blocking, forget about it. It's done.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, dude.
How about them Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys? The key addition here is obviously Jonathan Mingo for a 4th-round pick.
They didn't really acquire any other big-name receivers this year, did they?
Nobody else added to this team. Nothing to talk. No.
Oh, wait.
George Pickens. Yeah, George Pickens is now with the Cowboys, and from all the reports out of Dallas, it's going swimmingly. And I just kind of realized this.
Of course, best behavior. He's new. Give him a minute.
Yep. Let's get to the first game where CD gets about 10 targets and he sees about 2. Let's see how that one goes for George.
George thinks I was going to say, so they opened the season against Philadelphia on a Thursday night game. I'm interested to see if there's some temper tantrums on the sideline because some corners are locking up Pickens and CD, and they're just like Dak is just a check down merchant to Jake Ferguson, and the tantrum that happens. But
I knew who my over-unders are going after on the week 1. Jake Ferguson, baby.
Honestly, yeah.
Dude, you're going to talk about another disrespected tight end in the NFL.
Oh, it's
Jake Ferguson. It is the same as Dallas Goedert. It probably can be acquired for about the same flipping prices as Dallas Goedert at this point.
He's actually
he's done more.
Yeah.
Okay, but he can't be that much further. Anyway, he's pretty much done more in the NFL than about 90% of the guys in front of him at this point.
Yeah, 100%.
You know who I don't understand the hype for is Jadon Blue. Are any of you in on Blue? Like he's getting steamed up.
I don't think I took a single share.
33 right now because people just think that Javonte and Miles Sanders suck, and it's like that may be the case, but Jadon Blue fumbles the hell out of the ball. He had the highest fumble rate out of any of the rookies coming in.
Yeah, and he's not going to carry a workload either.
And he never did that at Texas, right? He was fine.
Yeah. And I thought he was like an average at best running back. Like he's definitely fast and explosive.
Yeah.
But like it wasn't like I was like, oh my god, this guy's really, got a lot of stuff going on here. He's fine.
Yeah, he's fine. It's not somebody I really wanted. For many times at all for in rookie drafts.
There's a lot more.
And even like Javonte Williams or Miles Sanders may not be that good, but I don't really I'm right with you. I really don't think he's going to be the running back they lean on. I think if they'll go out and get somebody off the street before I think they put Jadon Blue as their lead running back, right? So
right. And it might not be Javonte. That's who I'm kind of putting my bet on. It could be Miles Sanders. I don't think it's gonna be Jadon Blue, unless it's late in the season. I don't think he's the guy.
Yeah, like I think their offense is good enough that they're going to be in games. Their defense is solid. So yeah, I just don't see them like leaning on Jadon Blue.
I don't either. Dak Prescott's coming back from injury. I know 2 years ago he was like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Was at 23, and then last year he was a little bit up and down, a little bit disappointing. Then he got hurt. Right.
Year. This is a good year.
I was gonna say, do we think this is a good year?
Ping pong.
Counting for a bounce back.
Yep.
I hope so.
Good year.
I have a good amount.
It's like clockwork. Go look at the stats. It's clockwork, dude. It's crazy. It's so like you can't even deny it. It's so like.
So what you're saying is I need to go put all the overs on Dak this year.
Yeah, just
do it. And for me, like
he's a quarterback that goes bad.
He's a quarterback I've been targeting in startups just because like he's going in the 4th, 5th round. Like such that, in my opinion, that's such a good value. There's a lot of Michael Penix, JJ McCarthy, like a couple of those guys going ahead of him, and even myself, I took JJ McCarthy in our latest startup 16 team before Dak. My team's a little bit more on the younger side, so that's kind of why I did it. But
we're only 5 rounds in, Holler. We don't know what everybody's team is yet. Okay?
That's true.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Okay.
I just think it's going to be a good year for Dak.
Oh, that was fantastic. That was a little bit of a callback to if you're in the league, you know exactly what Brian was just saying. But yeah, dude, he's quarterback 21 right now. Yeah. Which feels way too low. Like some of the guys that are above him, you're selling on hopium as opposed to a guy who's legit been like a top 5 quarterback multiple times in his career. So, and there's no reason to think that I can't do that again, right? Like,
yeah, he does it. I mean, literally, it's the stats show it. You can look at it historically. It's all over the place. And like you guys are saying, JJ McCarthy, Michael Penix. I know you guys are really into JJ McCarthy. Some people are really into Michael Penix as well. Like I've seen Dak on an NFL field, and I've seen what Dak can do on an NFL field. Yeah. I'll be damned if I'm going to take those guys over Dak in a draft where I'm going to try to win money. You know what I mean?
Also, Dak's thrown to CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. Like it's not like he's lacking talent to throw the ball to.
Right.
So
dude, this is probably the best talent he's had in a few years, honestly.
And like Dak is kind of down. He's probably the perfect like QB2 that you want on your team, right? Like he has upside to be a top 5 quarterback on a week. Like he doesn't. And he can't. He can. There's been plenty of games where Dak just absolutely poops his pants, but
and that gets carted
more
off
more often than not.
Right, but more often than not, he's
fine. And he's
with Dak like in your quarter. Yeah,
he's like 10 to 18, somewhere in that range on the week.
Yeah,
right.
Like I'm never going like, oh shit, I got to start Dak this week.
I usually feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, I'm usually like, all right, I got Dak in there. I'm confident. Yeah. Like, oh, they got tough defense, tough matchup. Then I'm not as confident. But that's about the only thing that deters me from starting Dak.
Right. Exactly. Yep. Man.
Okay.
Now I messed up. Should have taken Dak instead of JJ. I'm just kidding.
Got this post-draft for Gertz. It's okay. JJ McCarthy has Kevin O'Connell as the QB whisperer. So
I can't wait to see how that plays out for you guys.
I do.
Man, yeah. If he's not good, a lot of my teams are going to be in trouble.
It's a big swing for you guys. I'm that guy. That's for sure. I'm rooting for you guys. I didn't get
It'll
in
be
on
good.
it.
It'll be fine.
I couldn't get in on it because you guys got all of him way sooner than I ever would. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Anyway.
Oh yeah.
New York Giants.
Should be gross. Yeah. I'm going to take the under on 5.5.
Okay, so I think I will too, but I kind of think this offense is going to be fine, right? Like I think it's more of a team overall talent issue. I think the offense will be fairly competent to, dare I say, decent.
I'm just kidding. They have really good players. Like it's just
they have a couple.
Depth. Well, that's what I was going to say. It's just the depth. So they have a couple top end players that are very good. So I think, it's just now that I'm looking at these names,
it's neighbors. It's Malik Neighbors.
One. Yeah. Sorry. I'm going to shut up now.
It's neighbors.
Wandale, dude, he had 132 targets last year. I was surprised when I saw that today.
It's like statistically the worst season ever put up by anyone.
Yeah. What was his ADOT?
Well, it wasn't good. I don't know. I don't have it.
Yeah,
up, but,
no. Dude, I saw him catch so many little outs and then just try to turn the corner and slip and fall every single
he's
time.
not like good.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with that guy and the slipping and the falling.
His A dot was 5.1.
Wow.
Really,
That's
really
way
low.
higher than I thought.
That's higher than Rondale Moore ever achieved. So,
Mhm.
Jackson Dart. When do you guys think that
Yes.
we are going to see Jackson Dart?
Well, maybe hold on. You guys talk for a second. Let me pull up their schedule.
The
Okay.
schedule, yeah, that's
Yeah.
I would say anytime after like week 7. I mean, also will depend on when their bye is, in my opinion. Usually that's like when it happens. But
They have,
yeah,
like, a week
I'll
8
call
bye.
it like
a week
yeah.
8
So I
bye.
was just about to say I'll call it week 8, but if that's their bye, I'm gonna go week 9.
Okay. I too would like to see the schedule. I was just going to tell Spanky to read it to me, but that just makes for really boring.
Okay.
But-
just looking at it, so it's like Commanders, Cowboys. After you just said it's boring. Commanders, Cowboys, Chiefs, Chargers. They probably start 0-4, and then
Yeah,
they
for
play
sure.
they play the Saints that next week, so they can probably get a win.
Oh, we
there,
have
but then
hope.
it's back-
Let's go.
But then it's back to the Eagles, Broncos, Eagles again. Like, this is a brutal schedule. Like,
I
they can
don't
legit start
think-
about like 1-7, and then we see Jackson Dart.
Like, do we not see him till December 1st against the Patriots?
I mean, I think that team's gonna be
I would
okay now
say
too.
we
When's their bye?
could see him as early as November 2nd. And they play the 49ers, who they get a lot of talk for their defense being good, but their defense blows, dude. They had a lot of turnover.
They invested a lot into that defensive line.
But
I wouldn't be surprised if they
when is their bye?
Just ask me questions I don't have the answers to. Hold on.
I thought you had their schedule there.
I have the schedule.
Yeah,
but
it doesn't say bye week, but it just gives
14.
Yep.
They have a late bye. Week 4.
Okay, so we'll see him before their bye, obviously.
I'm gonna say November
before the bye. Spanky says November. We gotta forget Jameis is there too.
For now.
Yeah, I mean,
that's fair. That's fair. It sounds like the Saints are.
But yeah, I mean, a good argument that we may not see. Dart is, I mean, they if they do start 0-7, then Daboll's not going to have a job, and then anytime after that, Jackson Dart could play. But if they win a couple of those games and they're like, 3-4,
what games are they winning out of that?
Dude, how the hell did they get this schedule as like one of the
They
worst
had a
teams
last
in the
place
NFL
schedule
last year?
is brutal.
yeah,
Dude,
So,
this is.
I'm just
I
playing.
would want the schedule as the Lions on a yearly basis.
I'm just playing devil's advocate a little bit here. But yeah, I don't think it happens. I think Daboll loses his job, and
Daboll's losing his job
before Daboll loses his job. I think they'll try anything and everything. So Dart will play, and then they lose
That's
again.
The thing. If they start out horribly, he's gonna have to go to Dart to try to save his job and be like, look, this is the guy we drafted. See, like, we have a future here. Don't fire me yet. Like, let's see how the kid progresses. I do think Jackson Dart's going to be good, by the way. When we get him on the field, he is someone that he's pretty athletic.
Utah glasses.
Jackson Dart's good, dude. I think he's going to be fine. Also, I want to hit on the running backs too, real quick.
Sure.
Tyrone Tracy,
Take your time.
Singletary. What do we got? Who do you guys like in this backfield? I think there's value there too. I think it's one of the grosser backfields, but I think I kind of like Tyrone Tracy, man. Like,
I've been grabbing Tracy late too. Honestly, I don't believe in the Scatterbo.
He flashed last year, and it's like Scatterbo's not like, he's fine, but I don't think he's gonna like come in and just like take over the backfield.
Yeah, like, he doesn't scare me away from his like Tracy's work back there, and Tracy's the pass catcher too. You know what I mean? Like, that's not going to be Scatterbo for sure. And like, we kind of talked about it in DMs. I think Scatterbo is way being overvalued for what he is. I really liked Scatterbo when he was back in like the 208 to 212. Like, kind of range.
And then he got all the way up
to get
to
him
like,
in that area, and then now he's in like the early 2, and I'm like, nah, dude, like, that's not what he is. Like, he's a fun story, and I would like to root for him as like my 208 to 212. Like he's a Brian Robinson running back. That's what he is.
He's a better pass catcher than I think you're giving him credit for. But
at the ceiling though, you're hoping for Brian Robinson.
Yeah, I got you. I'm just kidding.
You know what I mean?
But yeah, so
No,
and I've seen Scotabo go before Tracy in a startup, right? And that to me, that's crazy because I think Tracy is the starter, right? And of course, I'm with you, Spanky, that like this is a gross backfield, but there's no name like running back to it, right? But Tyrone Tracy was very solid last year, and so so I think he's there could be a little bit of the same. Scotabo will cut into it a little bit, but I don't think he's going to be the 203, 204 guy. I do agree with Wes that he is a good, pass catching back. He did a lot of that in Arizona. So I personally think he's good at that too. So
you guys ever see the pass blocking?
Well, that's what Singletary's there for.
That's what Motor's there for.
But for me, I think this offense goes through Malik Neighbors, and then there'll be a little bit of Tyrone Tracy, and then Wandell, we've talked about it before in the Discord. I think Wandell is nice, like, late in the draft, and he'll get you a couple points, but he's not somebody that I want to,
you better have
put in my lineup.
It better be a full PPR and get ready for about 8 points
because an L on your week.
It's 6 catches for about 26 yards.
Yeah. Disgusting.
And Theo Johnson, I think, has some sneaky value too. I think he's a good player.
I saw him in a trade the other. I wish I remember what it was, but I was a little surprised. Then I'm like, nobody else is there, and it was what?
Was it the offer that I sent in the?
No, I saw an actual trade go through. If Nick's still in the chat, I think it was him. He picked up Theo Johnson, and at first I was like, oh, what the heck? And then there's like nobody else in New York, so I think he was a fine tight end, right? So I think he's going to be fine.
I think he'll have a little bit better success in year 2. He was a little bit raw coming out. He's one of those Raz guys. I like kind of Darius Slayton a little bit with Russ because he'll throw some moon balls.
Sure.
I don't love Darius Slayton, but I think he's fine. I do think Tyrone Tracy's undervalued. I think him and Scotabo kind of have a similar skill set in that.
Tracy's young too.
He is young. Well, I mean,
he was on the older side,
younger,
young adjacent,
young adjacent. Yeah.
And dude, Dayball likes Devin Singletary, so I think people are just already counting him out. Yeah, he was, but he got hurt.
Did he get hurt?
Tracy took over.
Okay.
Don't count out Singletary coming into that backfield just to kind of muck things up. Right? And just kind of piss things off. But
so Theo Johnson. Sorry. It was Theo Johnson for Shipley and Brashard Smith.
Dude.
Yeah,
that's
I think
basically.
I don't want to. Yeah, so I'm totally good with that.
Yeah, I'll take Theo Johnson.
I'll take Brashard.
Yeah. Okay. So
he's a lot of hype.
Yeah, for a 7th round running back. You know who else has a lot of hype that I don't understand?
You know who else was a 7th round running back? Isaiah Pacheco. And he started for like 3 flipping years for that dang team. So Brashard has a chance. Don't poop on my dreams, you dream killers. Don't poop on my dreams. He's got a shot. Pacheco kind of looks like a bum. Brashard's a little bit exciting at least.
Oh no, we're reaching Kendre Miller levels of rants.
Here we go again.
I like this guy, so there won't be any shitheads. Buckle up, boys.
I got you.
We can talk about the trade West keeps mentioning in the chat if you guys want to. I pulled it up here.
What happened?
Do it.
You
should have wrote on the notes.
Trade. I know. So I traded away Brock Bowers and Derrick Henry, and I got a 26 first, Devon Achane, Brock Purdy, and Jake Ferguson.
I was a little nervous where that was going. At the start of that trade, when you said you traded away Bowers and Derrick Henry, I was like, well, and then you led with a 26 first, like you better have gotten a lot more than 26 first. I do remember this trade though. I like that though. I think Henry for the 26 first kind of makes sense, and then you have Bowers for Fergie, Achane, and what was the other name you said?
Purdy.
Achane,
and I actually didn't.
Totally fine.
I didn't have a second quarterback either. Which was nice to get Purdy. So now it's Herbert and Purdy on my roster.
I like both
to
sides of
go.
that. I don't think I
Yeah.
think it's
Yeah.
probably helps both teams out. So
Listen, I'm Jahmyr Gibbs, Aaron Jones, and
we don't need a review
Travion
of your
Henderson.
roster. No, thank you, but it's okay.
So like I was fine. I was perfectly fine like getting off of like the older Henry. Like I know I may like have screwed myself out of some points possibly by sending Henry out of there, but
I
it
don't
felt
know.
like a good
Achan's
opportunity. I
Achan's
know.
good,
And I
yeah.
felt like I swapped points evenly enough, and like I got the future first in the deal that I was like I really wanted to keep Bowers. I really did, but like the deal
That's
was
what I
so
was gonna
good
say. I think
that
like
like I
that's the
just
hardest
couldn't
part
turn
is
it
like
down. Yeah,
parting with
I didn't want to
Bowers,
lose
but
yeah.
yeah. So that's what I mean. I like both sides of
It
that
was so
trade.
good. Yeah.
I would need to know more of like the team makeup and things like that. But no, I
Do you want me to read the rest of my roster?
no,
Start at the
thank you.
taxi squad.
The taxi squad. Hold on. There is no taxi squad.
There we go. I'm
Nailed
surprised it took you that long.
Going back to the Giants just real quick, what are your expectations for Jackson Dart? Because I think we're gonna see him when he gets on the field.
Zero. I have zero expectations for Jackson Dart.
That's boring.
I'm a little
Give me
bit.
an expectation.
Well, I listen
kind of in the middle
like,
between you two.
Okay.
I'm not all the way with you yet, Spanky.
You'll get
Mainly just because I've just seen bad
get you there.
stats out of OTAs, but I'm gonna wait and see what more comes out. I'm not overreacting. I never was in any of these quarterbacks this class. For me, I think I've said it before, he was the one that I was probably like who I like the most.
He's Neo. He's the one. And
also,
real quick, OTA stat keeping is the dumbest.
No,
I
understand.
Oh yeah, dude. Like every time I see that tweet, I want to blow my brains out because I have literally wasted like 3 seconds of my day to read this tweet.
Yeah.
So why? What are we doing?
Like I said,
who cares?
Right.
It hasn't
practicing.
It hasn't moved me.
Somebody
anyway.
might say, you know what? Try as hard as you can to throw it through that defender's face. That might be the drill today. And they threw 100 interceptions, and then we counted stats on it.
Uh-oh.
God,
Ron's been fired up the last couple shows.
Ron has been fired up, dude.
Listen,
I mean,
it's hot out.
Case in point,
all day.
you guys remember Patrick Mahomes? The year before he started in training camp, and like every report was like, dude's throwing about 1,000 interceptions.
Yeah.
And then he was like the league MVP that year. So
maybe he's experimenting in practice with what he can get away with and what he can't get away with. Like he should. Like
that's the thing, dude. That's the time to do it. And my other favorite thing is when they're like, oh, like the Bills report, they were like, oh, he found freaking Elijah Moore and Dalton Kincaid for touchdowns. I'm like, okay, how many reps was that? Like, I don't know. Like,
was the play designed? It had to go to Dalton Kincaid. Like,
was it a one-on-one?
Getting
right, like
a 5-play package of only to Kincaid, and he dropped the other 4, but he scored one of those touchdowns.
I fear we've lost.
We've ventured off, and also you kind of
we're in the weeds. We could hypothesize.
Just took a little bit of
everything.
So I'm kind of in the middle on Jackson Dart. I still think he could be the best QB out of this class.
I think so too.
Like in terms of fantasy, so
it's possible.
I think I got 1 or 2 shares, which I'm okay with. So
yeah,
I'm rooting for the guy
as well. I have zero expectations. I'm not rooting against old Jackson Dart here. What I do think is going to happen is complete dumpster fire because it's the New York Giants.
Yep.
So. Yeah, but like good fantasy assets can come out of dumpster fires.
They can, but I just see complete dumpster fire as that's my prediction, I guess,
that's fair.
Jackson Dart. Yeah.
Anywho, I think we have
Will
one more
Levis
division.
level surrender Cobra.
I don't think it's gonna be that bad.
You don't think so? Oh my lord! Have you guys seen the memes going around right now? Oh my god! It's been on Facebook. It's
you need to send it to us.
Listen, I will. Sometimes I don't send you guys the stuff I see on Facebook and Instagram because I forget which one you guys have. But it says I can't. It says like the Israelis launched something like 30.
Yeah, I saw this too. It was on,
and they were intercepted. Like all 31 were intercepted, and no one was injured. And like somebody commented, "What is Will Levis launching the missiles?"
Yes.
Like I was like, "Oh my god!" dude,
Um,
killer on that one.
All right, we got one more division. We're gonna wrap up our divisions next week with the AFC East, and if you made it this far, God bless you. We'll catch you on the next one. See you guys. Peace out.